band is this?
Everybody poops sometimes.
Give us the smother.
Wake up, sweetness.
Your first time should be more than special.
I'm in, Savannah said. Good Lord, Gemma.
When a man and a woman, in this case, really, really love each other, what happens is they fuck.
Ooh, hello?
Oh, dang it, I lost my fish. This next word almost sounds like Quidditch. Quidditch milade Diana Agosiagath an Fiedian. As much as I love fucking you, sweetness, we stared into each other's eyes whilst I moaned in ecstasy. Having consumed half of the bourbon, I keep saying bourbon. You know, every time I mess up on a word, Stunt Mama just shows up.
She had her seductive smile on her lips.
I said we couldn't have sex. I didn't say anything about everything else. Ew. Happy to help. Biatch. You are the spark of light in the vastness of my night. His note, like a finality to a beautiful, breathtaking song. Good evening. Hello. Welcome to Sunday. Another start to another week. It's good to see you all. I hope everyone's doing wonderful. I sound what? Okay. We can fix that. Okay, how about now? No, I'm glad you told me because I can't hear it. Perfect. Okay, cool. You know, I even bought a new power cable for this thing, hoping it would, you know, fix all those issues. I swear, if it's not one thing, it's something else. Anyway, beautiful sunny day today. Have the house opened up to the breeze. It's been really nice here too. Mid 80s. We did finally turn on the air though because, well, I'm gonna get stupidly hot in here. And yeah, so, but it's been a busy weekend, let me tell you. We've had a childless weekend until about an hour or two ago. Kiddo came back home from his grandparents' house. But during that time, we went to a couple of different stores and started figuring out finishes, faucets, bath and shower stuff, flooring, cabinet style, like all those things, lighting, fans for the house that we're building. So we spent a lot of hours trying to figure that out so that when we go to our first meeting on Tuesday, we would have, you know, our homework done, basically. So that's what happened here. Saturday was intense. Let me tell you. Well, I just did. I just told you. So yeah. And even though it's stupidly hot in here, I still have my hot tea because the throat does well with hot tea. It is what it is. Can't do much about that. And Kay's here. Hi Kay, welcome back. How the heck are you? Here's your puzzle for tonight, by the way. Gotta lube the pipes. That's right. That is right. I don't remember if we've done this puzzle before, but I just liked it, you know? It looks peaceful. I like the colors. So, for the puzzlers out there, knock yourself out. But yeah, so worn out. Sorry I've been absent. I was sick, then excessively busy with really early starts. No, don't worry about it. I hope the sickness has passed and that you're feeling better. You are never obligated to be here, Kay. I love it when you are, and we certainly missed you. But don't sweat it at all. So those of you that, like Stepmom's Mama, you saw in Discord, but for those of you that didn't see, I gave my son his copy of the book I wrote for him, and he was over the moon. So I was really happy about that. Absolutely ecstatic. So yeah, it's been a fun weekend. Rampage Rhino, what's up, dude? How are you, sir? Yeah, he was pretty ecstatic, especially when he learned that the main character was him. So he loved that. Right. Doing great, thanks. Just finally getting some relaxed time. Well, I am honored that you choose my reading to help with that process. Seriously. My copy should arrive Wednesday. Awesome. I'm excited for you. Is it a long book? No. Because it's a kid's book, I aimed for about 5,000 words. He likes to read books like Dragon Masters, stuff like that, if you're familiar with those. And those are about 6,000 words, not pages. That would be insane. So I aimed for something around there. And I could have easily stretched it to 6,000, but I was pretty happy with the flow of it being 5,000. So that's kind of where I ended it. 5,000 pages. Jeez, I said it again. 5,000 words. It's been that kind of weekend, okay? It's been fun, but my goodness. Oh, and our dog, so more life news. Our dog has kennel cough, so we're treating him for that. And then today we needed to take the cat to the vet because we weren't sure what was going on. He's got some pain meds and he got some hydration, so we're hoping that will help get him back to normal. Do you have a link? Yes. There you go. Ta-da! The magical tree. Yeah, so I wrote it for like 7 to 12-year-olds, basically. I mean, obviously anyone can read it, but that was like the target audience. And I gotta say, it was a little bit of a challenge in some aspects because my brain wanted to overcomplicate things. I wanted to add way more intricate details, and I had to really tell myself not to do that because someone of that age isn't gonna, like, they might read it, they might see the words, but they're not gonna comprehend what's being said. So I needed to make sure it fit the age range. So that was actually a bit of a challenge, but a fun challenge nonetheless. So there you go. Okay. Should we read a book of our own? I think we shall. Like I said, I got my tea here. During our outing, we actually stopped. We went to a place called the Amana Colonies. And they sell all kinds of cool stuff. I got some taffy. Ooh, good chewy taffy. And I also got some tea, some English breakfast tea. So that's what's in my cup tonight. It's pretty good. And I mention it because I need to take my med, and then I can start reading. What flavor of taffy? I got all kinds of flavors. I want to say they had about 15 or so different flavors, and I got not quite all of them, but a lot of them. Mitchell. What's up, Mitchell? How are you? Good to see you. Good to see you. Okay. Happy Sunday to you too. Thank you very much. I hope everyone's had a fantastic weekend. I hope you're ready to relax. If you got your drink, your snack maybe, or whatever it is that you need right now to help you feel comfy cozy, I hope you have it. Tonight we're starting on page 121 in the printed copy of Midnight Black. Chapter 16. It went by too quickly again. Ain't that the truth? It will be at my house on Tuesday. Oh, Amlass. Excuse me. That's super kind of you. Thank you so much for ordering a copy. I hope you like it. I hope whoever you're going to read it to, or if they're going to read it to you, I hope they love it as well. It'd be a cool read for my son's bedtime. Yeah, absolutely. That's so cool. Thank you so much. That means the world to me. I hope they love it. I really do. I wish... The only thing that I regret about the publishing process is that normally with kids' books, you can get pretty elaborate with the design. And when you're self-publishing, you're really limited. So that's the only downside. But it doesn't change the story, it just changes how the book looks. So, yeah, it is what it is. Alright. Chapter 16 is called Like a Whipped Dog. That's probably how our guy feels, like a whipped dog. Alright. Let's see what happens. When we arrive back at the office, Hank pulls into the parking lot next to his car, an older model Ford Taurus. Either of you, wants a lift home? Jade? Yeah, Hank, thanks. Billy? No, I'm gonna walk. Okay, suit yourself. Dispirited, I meander down Broadway through an inch of fresh snow, hands in my pockets, shoulders slumped forward as I weave around streetwalkers and garbage containers. Even though the sun is up and feels great on my face, my mood's dark and my mood's dark and for damn good reason. I can't erase from my mind the torture that took place before those two were murdered. How can we justify such inhumane behavior under any circumstances? I have to find a way out. I won't. I can't be a party to this lawlessness. I better make it to the house without running into anyone who might piss me off. Not tonight. Nor do I want to run into anyone. Wow. I can't read. Nor do I want to run into the Energizer Bunny. Not in the mood for him either. Thankfully, I run into neither. Dragging myself up the stairs as quietly as possible, I stop at Conrad Billings' door, wondering who he was. Entering my place reminds me of the dirty dishes still in the sink and the urine on the bathroom floor. They'll wait. What I need is a shot of bourbon and sleep. Lots of sleep. Dropping my gun and badge on the table, I retrieve the bottle and pour a shot. Down it goes, and I'm off to bed. By the time I awake, it's dusk. I had slept the day away. My head is fogged, but the memory of what happened in that barn lingers like a bad nightmare. I'll eat something, wash the dishes, clean the bathroom floor, and try to put it all behind me. I'm rooting around in the fridge, looking for something easy to fix when I hear what sounds like a knock at the door. Someone's moving around in the hall. I wait for another knock. It doesn't come. Still hyper from the raid, I sweep up my gun from the kitchen table and clear my throat to let whoever's out there know I'm here. Damn. The doorknob's turning. Did I lock it? Slowly, the door swings open. It's Jules. He freezes at the sight of my weapon pointed at his head. Whoa! Put that damn thing away. Good God, Jules, I could have shot you. I thought I heard you say come in. I coughed. Next time, cough louder. And keep your door locked. There are subhumans out there that'll kill you for a saltine cracker. What's up? You look like you lost your best friend. If only you knew, Jules. If only you knew. Long day. Good. He has no idea I've been sleeping all day. Your eyes looking better. Strolling to the sofa, he plops down like he owns the place. Bless the landlord who makes himself at home. Heat not working, Jules? What? You're wearing an overcoat. He ignores me. His attention goes to the bourbon on the kitchen counter. It's against the laws of nature to drink alone. A myth perpetrated by those in need of a drink. Oh, consider me in need, William. Damn, the bottle's almost empty. Okay, be a good host and pour him one and another for yourself, and see what's on the old body's mind, or the old boy's mind. He raises his glass in a toast. Success in your new job. Would you say that if you knew what we do at Auschwitz West? Downing the shot, I join him on the sofa. He offers me a cigarette. I quit. Oh, suit yourself, William. Mind if I do? It's your house. Go for it. He sucks in a long, slow drag like maybe it's his last, then blows perfect smoke circles that float up and disperse like an errant cloud. That's it. Damn it, I want one. Okay, toss one over. So much for willpower. Willpower is highly overrated, Jules. Lighting the cigarette, I inhale deeply, hoping the poisonous toxins erase the evil I witnessed this lurid day. You, came up for a reason? He downs the rest of his drink and snuffs out the cigarette in his glass. I was going for a walk. Wanna join me? It's dark and cold out there. Jeez, William. A little chill won't kill you. I only have this light jacket. So buy a less light jacket. All right. But just a short walk. Bring your badge and gun. Leave your phone. When we hit the street, a city dump truck is clearing the sidewalks of garbage. Like an alien robot from a sci-fi movie, its mechanical arm noisily swings out, grips a container, sweeps it up, and empties it. Jules lights a cigarette and chuckles low. Be still, my heart. They finally showed up. And in the dock yet? Who cares as long as they remove the stench? Say, why did I leave my phone behind? Your phone, along with satellites, drones, and cameras on poles with their facial technology and tracking our every move. Jules, I doubt whoever's tracking cares we went for a walk. Says you? That truck gives me a headache. Let's walk the other way. We stroll over the snow-covered sidewalk. Something's rattling around in Jules's head. He's got me out here for more than just a casual walk in the cold. Dark, lingering stench of garbage. Jules, something's on your mind. What is it? Not that it's any of my business, but I thought you should know. After you left this morning, this Godzilla shows up flashing an official badge. Says he was your parole officer. Wilson never mentioned anything about a parole officer. What did he want? He wouldn't say, just that he'd return later. You could have told me this in my nice warm apartment, Jules. The walls have ears. And the house? Jules, you're paranoid. And for a good reason. You best watch your back until you know who that guy is. Many government types skulk around pretending to be who they're not. You're not a spy for one of them dissident groups, are you? Huh? Me? Not hardly. We stroll on in silence while Jules sucks on his cigarette like a stick of candy. I can't figure out why he's hovering over me like we're best buds. He doesn't know me, where I've been, or why. But I'm just hungry enough for information to risk exposing my past. Let's see if this newfound friendship will shed some light. Geez, Jules, it's like third world country out here. It's that all right. Must have been the same out there in San Francisco, huh? Yeah, if not worse. Millions around the world are huddling hopeless and scared tonight, looking for places to sleep that no human should have to. None believed one day they'd end up begging for food and shelter and taking deadly drugs to make it through another night. Every day, within a mile radius of here, there are at least a dozen overdoses, and they're left to die like diseased animals. There were 8 suicides last week in South Boston alone. The youngest was 22. The problem is, we grew up believing that America was exceptional, the greatest democracy in the world, the land of the free, the land of milk and honey. We bought into that, but we became complacent and failed to protect our precious democracy. So, son, here we all are these years later, and democracy's ashes are stashed away in a Tupperware container somewhere. The French philosopher Montesquieu summed it up in 1748 when he wrote, "The tyranny of a prince is not so dangerous to the public's welfare as the apathy of a citizen in a democracy." I will add that life is short, dead is dead, and when your brain runs out of fuel, there's no second act. So make the first one count. The Energizer Buddy is wound up and talking up a storm. Let's see if I can get more out of him. I have to say, Jules, your knowledge of history is impressive. It's no more complicated than paying attention to what came before, son. Study the past as I have, and you'll begin to see all the wavy spaghetti lines coming together in a single thread, leading to the day the Bandinos swooped in and skinned us alive. We were facing a mountain of challenges, not the least of which was climate change and overpopulation. By the time we got around to accepting our blunders, it was too late. No matter what we did, our trouble stayed one step ahead of us. It's always been that way. As soon as we solve one problem, another comes along. As for overpopulation, what were we supposed to do with all those bodies taking up space and polluting the planet even more than it already was? Well, friend, take a look around. It looks like the fastest ninnies in Marseille found a solution. Short-term pain in exchange for long-term gain. And they're betting the average Joe is too stupid to figure it out. If I shift this conversation to recent history, he'll question why my lapse in memory. The hell with it. Roll the dice and see where it goes. How's your knowledge of current events? What kind of question is that, Billy? A dumb one. Wish I'd had phrased it better. I'm interested in your take on things. What period are we talking about? The past 17 years or so? His face compresses. He shoots me a questioning look. You'd have to be living on another planet not to know. Huh, that's a laugh. I have been living on another planet. Jules blows a hard breath, shakes his head, and walks off. I give it a shot. It looks like he doesn't want to go there. We continue in silence for 30 seconds while he drags on his cigarette like it's his last. It's almost down to the filter. 17 years, huh? Okay, great. I have his attention. Yeah. That's a hell of a chunk of time, William. What's the real reason you're asking? I want your take on things. That's all. He goes silent again and continues walking until he stops and turns to me. You want my take on things? Yeah. He's eyeing me suspiciously. All right, William. I'll play your game. But first, a few ground rules. Okay, shoot. You get an abridged version of my perception of what screwed everything up. Why is that? Because it'll take all damn night to fill in the who, what, and why. And you don't get to ask questions. Not happy about that. Too bad. And this conversation never took place. It's not the kind of truth openly discussed unless you have a death wish. I don't, and my lips are sealed. He tosses his spent cigarette into the snow, crushes it beneath his foot, and lights another. One of our major problems is that we Homo sapiens have been tribal creatures from the beginning of our trek across the planet. You know, my tribe is better than your tribe bullshit. An endless, dangerous mindset causes many to buy into conspiracy theories and alternative facts to support their worldview. They're either too goddamn stubborn or too fearful of the truth to put 2 and 2 together and come up with 4. Jules, you're talking about human nature. He tosses his head back and laughs. His keychain jiggles under his coat. Human nature? That's a joke, William. We're nothing more than a video game. A video game? Yeah. An unforeseen force controls us, each of us playing a small, transitory role for the short time we're here. That's the only answer that makes any sense. How else do you explain all the craziness? Now ask yourself. Luxie, how you doing? Now ask yourself, was this game created for us by some intelligent entity, or did we create it ourselves? Either way, the world is in the shitter. Did you know more than half of all adults believe in an intelligent extraterrestrial life? No, I didn't. That statistic rivals belief in God. Think about that for a New York minute. when those little green men finally show their faces, where will that leave our sanctimonious religious beliefs? In the toilet, that's where. Alright. Enough of my babbling. Let's get to your 17-year period. Good, thanks. Taking a break from my book and came to listen to yours. How are you? Oh, well, thank you very much. I'm doing well, thank you. Reading Midnight Black. Enjoying the futuristic tale. Thanks for stopping by. Oh, you want me to take a drink there, Mitchell? Alright, I got you. Our story has us in Boston right now. So this guy, you know, he's kind of a Boston guy. That tea, I tell you what. That is something else. What book are you reading, Luxie? What about the no questions, remember? Sorry, Professor Sommers. Proceed. Stunt Mama. How are you? How are you doing, eh? I really messed up horror book with some smut. Oh, okay. A messed up horror book. That's not usually the same two ways to describe something that I've heard. A messed up horror book. Must be really messed up. But enjoy it. Doing good. Glad to be first. You're always first in my heart, Stunt Mama. Sounds on point for horror. Yeah, right. Hopefully, you recall 15 years ago when millions took to the streets again, accusing the It messes with my head, so I had to take a break. Well, that makes complete sense. Accusing the aristocracy of being society's money pariahs, scooping up the winnings with both hands while sucking the marrow from the bones of the rest of us. Did the glitterati care? Hell no. News cycles come and go. Protests are soon forgotten. Capitalism, however, rolls on, protecting the mighty super white class while minorities are kept down with a knee on their necks. How often do we have to get kicked in the balls before we kick back? As Forrest said, stupid is as stupid does. Who? Forrest Gump. Never heard of him. He was a movie character who said, stupid is as... Oh, never mind. It's just an old movie and a damn good one. And you remember a line from it all these years later. There are lines from films that become iconic, like, frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. Not familiar with that one either. Clark Gable, Gone with the Wind, 1929. You're a movie buff too. What else is an aging genius going to do with his free time? Where was I? You were expanding on the elite class and capitalism. Right. Let's back up a bit. As I said, climate change kept biting at our asses like a pissed off pack of wolves. The canary in the coal mine should have been when the mass migrations from the poorest areas began in earnest. Countries began slamming shut their borders in a desperate attempt to stem the flow. Despite their efforts, the undesirables, as they referred to them, kept coming in swarms, leading to increased racism, xenophobia, and violence. Super! What's up, dude? Super concerned. Caucasians were determined to remain the dominant race at any cost, not necessarily in numbers. It was too late for that, but in control. and control is always where the money and power are. Am I boring you yet, William? Not at all. Jules wipes a hand over his face and sighs. He's thinking again. It took a disastrous event, a border war between Pakistan and India, to finally kick our collective neurons into high gear. Finally, the details of the mysterious Pakistan-India event. Don't mention Wilson brought it up in passing. Let him roll through his version. Why do I get the impression you don't know this stuff? As I said, I want your take on events. Sounds like you're pulling my chain, William. If he calls me William again, I'm going back to the apartment without him. Why do you say that, Jules? You tell me, son. There's nothing to tell, old man. All right. Have it your way. Many bad things were happening. Not just here, but in the whole bloody damn world. People were fed up with the gilded-edged crowd humming along like happy campers, as they always did. As for government policies, they've always supported financial markets and whatever else makes the rich richer. It will never change, Jules. It's a shell game, and it's stacked against us. You got that right. The whole world finally got shaken awake 10 years ago. Following a contentious border war, Pakistan, in all their wisdom, fired a 1-kiloton nuclear-tripped missile at New Delhi, a city of almost 22 million at the time. God almighty. God chose to look the other way on that one. The warhead exploded 6 miles short of New Delhi center. To this day, no one knows why. It was the height of our propensity for treating one another with unspeakable cruelty, raising the question, were we the most intelligent species on the planet, or the dumbest? How could the brass of Europa have kept that from us? The world came to a dead stop. Fear consumed every last person capable of comprehending the consequences if it was ever to happen again. There was an immediate call to ban all nuclear weapons, but not surprisingly, not a single country was willing to give up theirs. The US had the clout to get it done, but didn't. Say, William, why are we doing this dance? What do you mean? Stop bullshitting me. You don't know any of this stuff. Never mind. I said I'd play, so I will. Pay attention. Following the Pakistan-India debacle, the world was on the edge of a major revolt. Protesters worldwide took to the streets, constantly clashing with authorities. Arrests were made, and prisons filled up fast. Something had to be done. In the US, neither political party was delivering the goods. They were too busy clashing with one another over who would be the next king of the hill. Then came the news that a new political party was in the works. They named it the People's Cooperative Populist Party, the PPP. Who wouldn't fall in love with a warm, cozy, patriotic, flag-waving moniker like that? The rascals pitched a liberal bent that played like a love song to the fed-up masses. Equality and opportunity for everyone regardless of skin pigmentation, status, or where they came from, as long as they were legally here. Suspiciously, there was little pushback from either of the existing two parties. Why weren't they pushing back? Unbeknownst to us naive folk, The PPP was financed by the very same high-rolling financiers who had funded the two major parties in the past. It was a clever shift away from what wasn't working to a system that would ensure the old system kept working, safeguard the affluent and mighty white class, and they were all in on it. The People's Cooperative Populist Party simply exploited the worst of humanity when we were at our most vulnerable. They dusted off the old slogan, "Make America Great Again," with a slight twist. "Keep America great forever." Before we could say, "Bend over and grab your ankles, America is about to get royally screwed again," the American People's Populist Party presidential candidate, a billionaire industrialist with no government experience other than the checks he wrote supporting his candidates, was swept into the White House, along with control of both houses of Congress. Rexter, what's up, man? They promised us the moon, but delivered Uranus, a planet with no solid surface. An interesting analogy, Jules. The PPP's grab for the brass ring was about preserving the white race as the real power and ensuring their control over the world's assets. Would it surprise you to know they had the support of hate and militia groups, white nationalists, and fringe malcontents? Not surprisingly, like-minded plutocrats around the world adopted the PPP's playbook, winning high offices in country after country. Before we knew it, the PPP morphed into a worldwide political party. Smell the conspiracy yet? Hard to miss, Jules. It sounds like that was their plan all along. Right you are, William. Only we were too stupid to recognize it. The New World PPP party put forth a radical concept that caught everyone's attention. A world government to oversee all other governments. All military forces will be under the direct control of the world government on the premise that if individual nations did not have armed forces, there could be no wars. And nuclear weapons were to be permanently banned. Who wouldn't fall for that bait? In full democratic fashion, everyone over 18 was allowed to vote for or against the establishment of a world government. They were that confident. That was risky. What if the people had voted no? The snakes behind the PPP knew we common folk were predictable and easily influenced as long as we believed whatever they were proposing was beneficial to us. A whopping 72% voted in favor of a world government. The people had spoken. It was and remains the most radical decision in the history of humankind. The New World Government reduced each country's military by a third and installed military generals loyal to the PPP to oversee these forces to ensure no country stepped out of line. As promised, they decommissioned all nuclear weapons, which proved wildly popular. The PPP would also act as a world Supreme Court when arguments between countries arose. Every country had to cough up 7.5% of its yearly GDP for services provided. It's a hell of a lot more complicated than that, but that's the long and short of it, son. We were scammed, and scammed good. This is beyond science fiction, Jules. If it were a movie plot, no one would believe it. But the people, God love them, bought it hook, line, and sinker. You gotta give the PPP credit for pulling it off. And now? What about resistance groups like this Apostolic Channel? When you're talking about organized resistance, William, you better have a lot of sheepdogs herding the flock in the same direction. We didn't. The few resistance groups there are, like Apostolic Channel, are mostly hotheads who don't know what the hell they're doing. That's a rumor a well-funded and organized group has a global movement going, but it's just a rumor. If it does exist, they're keeping a low profile. If it does surface, Marseille will crush it like a cockroach. Listen, son, I promised you an abridged version. There it is. History Lesson 101. If I understood it all, I'd be president for life instead of that narcissist French billionaire whose name I never can remember. I'm so struck by what Jules has told me, I'm too speechless to offer my observations. My father, God love him, passed at age 92. The day before he died, he told me what made his life worthwhile was the joy he received from Mom, my older sister, and me. They're all gone now, except for me. I don't believe in the afterlife. But if I'm wrong, my fondest wish is that I'll meet up with them again. Sound familiar, Billy Boy? Okay, kiddo. Let's head back. I'm getting a chill. I'm relieved I got that much out of him. I won't press him further. He's ambling back toward the house, but hesitates a beat and turns back. I could find myself in a fading, unwashed, loose-fitting orange jumpsuit for talking about this. Jules, my lips are sealed. He's scanning the dark street like he's worried someone might be watching us. Well, what is it, Jules? There's the camps. I've seen a local one at Moakley Park. No, not those. Like the ones created by the Chinese that imprisoned over 1 million ethnic Uyghurs and other Turkic Muslims to wipe out their language, religion, and culture, as the white European immigrants did to the indigenous Indians here, the Nazis to the Jews, and others in World War II, and the North Koreans who sent thousands of their citizens to retraining labor camps. He's scanning the street again before moving to my side. The vermin in Marseille are doing it again, rounding up homosexuals, the disabled, clergy, reporters, resistance fighters, and anyone who dares speak out against their policies. No one is ever labeled unfit to live in their society. No. That would be racist and bring about a major backlash. Instead, people are charged with fabricated crimes, given a quick trial, found guilty, and off they go, never to be heard from again. It's the government's ancillary program for those who aren't dying quickly enough out here on the streets, and what can only be described as a planned genocide. Jesus. They must believe we're all stupid. Where are these? Somebody come get her. She's dancing like a stripper. Okay. It did that thing again. Like it did earlier. Super annoying. Sheesh. And I guess the question is, when did it start? And I don't know why it keeps doing that. It's so annoying. Makes no sense. I know I do need to do an update to my PC, but that should not have anything to do with it. Anyway, thank you for letting me know. I guess I don't know what you heard last. We stopped hearing about, he talked about how he charged the crippled. Let's see. Instead of kicking them out, charge the crippled. Charge the crippled. This Jules guy has talked a lot, so I'm not sure. This is a long chapter. That was his history lesson. Drink. Yep. I will. I will. Thank you. They make up bogus charges. Okay. Yeah, I do remember reading that. Oh, yeah. Oh, so it was only like a paragraph or so. Because then he talked about there's these camps, like... Okay. Instead, people are charged with fabricated crimes, given a quick trial, found guilty, and off they go, never to be heard from again. It's the government's ancillary program for those who aren't dying quickly enough out here on the streets, and what can only be described as a planned genocide. Jesus. They must believe we're all stupid. Where are these camps, Jules? I suppose some know, but I don't. Okay, I've said enough. Maybe too damn much. He hands me his pack of cigarettes. Take these. No, I'm good. Don't argue, William. Just take them. Stop protesting, Billy. You know you want them. Take them. Thanks, Jules. He smiles, pats me on the arm, and walks off again. But, surprise, he turns back. Do you by chance remember who Stephen Hawking was? He was a theoretical scientist, wasn't he? One of the best to have ever lived. Hawking summed up us humans this way. We are just an advanced breed of monkeys on a minor planet of a very average star. But we can understand the universe. That makes us something very special. Special at what, I ask? That's the most important question we have to answer before we all perish. As for you, young man, archaeologists discover remnants of ancient societies, excuse me, buried under many layers of time. When you're ready to peel back a few of yours and tell me why you don't know any of this stuff, I'm all ears. Maybe when you stop calling me William. His lips curl into a devilish grin. Okay, Billy. And with that, my history-loving Energizer Bunny landlord is heading back to the house at his usual quick pace, while I try to keep up with him. When I'm safely back in my sparse but warm apartment, I pour the last remaining shot of bourbon and ponder all that Jules had shared with me. How could we have allowed this to happen? Had we learned nothing from our past fumbles? What does it take to protect ourselves from the evil that so frequently rises like ashes from a flame? I have way too many questions requiring way too many answers. And then there's the lingering stench of the horror that went down in that warehouse. Chernov, Wilson, Gustav, and Victor violated every code of morality that defines us as humans. Define human, Billy boy. Complicated, isn't it, huh? Give it a try again in the morning when your head's clear. With a cigarette dangling from my lips, I wash the dirty dishes and scrub the urine-stained bathroom floor while trying to come to grips with the implications of my missing years. This sleepless night wins the prize as one of the most distressful, along with Jules' dystopian world narrative and the responsible executions in that barn. Both play out in my head like an endless loop. I toss, I turn, I wake up, and I sit up. The only way to stop it is to get out of bed a damn hour earlier than usual. Feeling sleep-deprived, a cup of coffee in hand, I sit on the sofa in a mental fog, unable to focus, staring blankly ahead as if the desk, TV, and the wall beyond were not there. An infinity of nothing. Hey, get your act together, Billy boy. Nobody gives a damn how you're going to deal with this. It falls on you to figure it out. Remember when you took your last shower on Europa? You washed off the stink and grime of that insufferable planet? That's what you need to do now. Find the courage within you to go forward, not sideways. I linger in the shower, my hands flat against the wall as the hot water streams over me. At 7, I wolf down a couple of eggs and toast. I'm out the door and on the sidewalk by 7:30. Two 60s-looking Hispanic men on the opposite side of the street are pointing fingers and yelling at one another. They look like they're seconds away from a fist fight. One of them pokes the other in the chest with his finger. Oh my god, there's more Spanish that I can't speak. Hijo de puta, me robaste tu vida baja. Whatever that said. The other one steps back and gives him the finger. Era pésimo pedazo de pan wa queso. Oh, we have an ad starting, by the way. Soon. My neighbors across the street, who I've never seen, let alone met, are watching this spectacle unfold from their windows. Time for me to play cop. Hey, you two. The aggressive one steps off the curb and advances in my direction. Eke? Do you speak English? Yeah. Do you speak Spanish? Sorry, no. What's going on? No es asunto tuyo. No comprende, amigo. I said, amigo, it's none of your goddamn business. Pushing my coat open, I expose my gun and badge. I'm making it my business. He tosses his head back and laughs. Does anyone that's not subbed see an ad right now? Because there's supposed to be one, but I can't tell. This Twitch ad stuff sucks. Royally. I said, Super K, you're both subbed. Amlas sees nothing. Okay. Good. I don't see one. Fantastic. Excellent. We're continuing on then. Is that supposed to frighten me? It will if you don't explain what you two are arguing about. This creep over here stole food from me. I look to the other guy. Is that true? He looks away like he knows he did. I was hungry. The first guy tosses up his hands and scoffs. You don't get to steal food, Matito Radron. Okay, time to defuse the situation before someone gets hurt. Senor, what's the food he stole? I ate it. A lousy piece of moldy cheese and bread. The aggressive one is wagging an accusing finger. Now you see one? I'm so confused. Well, it's going to end in 10 seconds, so. Okay, it says the ads are done. Amlas, can you hear me now? I missed a lot. Yes, you did. We're like on page 136. But don't worry, Kay, there's Super, I'm gonna ban you. Kay, there's recorded videos on my YouTube if you want to catch up. No, I thought you quit the sub thing. I did, and then I realized how much it actually took away from me not having the subs, so I ended up needing to bring it back. It was just one of those annoying trial run situational things. I thought I could live without it. Turned out to be more negative than positive, so I didn't feel good. I didn't enjoy going through all of that process, especially like, you know, it felt way more complicated than it needed to be, but here we are. We're back. Okay. Where was I? This chapter is freaking long. We only have a few pages left, but it's a very long chapter. Oh yeah, okay, so the aggressive one is wagging an accusing finger. It was my cheese and bread. I'm gonna beat your ass to a pulp. Hold on there. That won't solve anything. Maybe not for you, mister, but it will for me. He needs to pay for what he did. You two know each other? He lives in the tent next to me in Mockley Park. Then you're friends. Used to be before he stole my damn food. Okay. Let's settle this in a civilized manner. If I get you both something to eat, will you call a truce? The aggressive one hesitates. He looks at the other guy. ¿Quiere darnos comida, Julio? ¿Por qué tendría que hacer eso? Julio wants to know why you would do that. To keep you from harming one another over a piece of cheese and bread. By the way, I suck at speaking Spanish, so. Debemos confiar en él, Julio. Sí. Julio says okay. Great. What's your name? Domingo. Domingo, you and Julio wait right there. When I turn to go back in, Jules is standing on the stoop in his robe and he's glaring at me. What are you doing, Billy? Not now, Jules. After a quick trip upstairs, I grab the open package of bologna and the rest of the sliced bread, stuff them into a paper bag, and return to the street. Jules is still there. Big mistake, Billy. It won't be my first or last, Jules. Crossing the street to the two men, I hold out the food. Take this. Split it evenly between you. Do it in front of me. They eye me suspiciously, like maybe they don't trust this gringo cop. Go on, take it. Domingo snatches the food from my hand, takes his share, and passes the rest to Julio, who stares at me with disbelief. Thank you, sir. You're welcome. Shake hands. Go on, do it. Reluctantly, they do as I ask, and with that, they're off down the street and around the corner. I smile and wave to my neighbor hiding behind the safety of their window blinds and return to Jules. Oh, bad move, Billy. Like pigeons in the park, they'll be back for more. The situation was diffused with a package of bologna and some bread. How easy was that? I'm just saying that. Gotta go, Jules. You'll see that I'm right, Billy. Bye, Jules. Have a nice day. Okay, so I feel good about what I did. So what? It cost me a lousy package of bologna and bread. It's the first I've felt halfway human since I got back. When I reach Broadway, I see the garbage has been cleared, a significant improvement. Weaving my way through too many streetwalkers, I arrive at Murder Central a few minutes before 8, and risk flirting with Jade. Good morning, Jade. She doesn't acknowledge me. Her eyes are locked on whatever she's reading. And here I thought the sun only shined outside. I'll be back if you're still here in 15. Okay, Jen, no worries. That sounded a little juvenile, Billy boy. Unsmiling, she glances up. Billy, if you're trying to cheer me up, this is not the morning to do it. It was worth a try. Yesterday's still too fresh in my mind. Yeah, sorry. For me too. Wilson's moving you to the desk between Hank and Gustav. Ah, the promotion. Go get settled. Yes, sir, boss. Best I zip my lip while I'm ahead. When I settle in at my new desk, the good German Gustav can't resist ragging on me. Welcome to the big boy side of the room. Learn anything yesterday? Call it what it was, Gustav. An execution. And for damn good reason. And that would be? Es gibt mehr von ihnen als wir. There's more of them than us. Right. Got it. I'll make note of that. He smirks and turns away. I need a cup of coffee. I'm up and heading for the door when Jade stops me. You two sound like schoolboys. One of us is. One of us isn't. I'm having trouble telling which is which, Billy. The short one is. The tall one isn't. I'm headed to the break room. Join me for coffee. She graces me with a warm smile, probably because she blew me off when I arrived. Maybe later. Suit yourself. She lied. I knew she was coming. I could hear it in her voice, see it in her eyes, those beautiful, flashing, almond-shaped eyes. Right, keep telling yourself these foolish fantasies. And they'll have you committed to a home for egomaniacs. Ah, the break room's empty. No sooner have I fixed up a cup of coffee and settled at one of the tables than in waltzes Jade. Score one for me. She fixes herself a cup and settles in the seat across from me. How's Antonina, Jade? Luckily, it was a flesh wound. She'll be out of the hospital tomorrow. She slips her coffee and goes quiet for several seconds. Neither of us believed we'd have to use our weapons. Yesterday was a first. I pray it's the last. She lowers her head and stares expressionless at her coffee. Slowly, her head comes up. I see the anguish in her eyes. I didn't hesitate. I just shot him. And for that reason, you and Antonina are alive. Be thankful you didn't see what Chernov did to those two workers before Gustav and Victor executed them. It was inhumane. Chernov's one sick puppy. A word to the wise, Billy. Be careful what you say to whom. You're right. I need to zip it. It's not always going to be like this, so keep the faith. From your lips to the ear of whoever's listening, Jade. She picks up her coffee and stands. Remember what I said. Keep the faith, Buckaroo. Oh, now I'm Buckaroo? Gustav called you a cowboy. Buckaroo has a better ring to it. Tossing me one of her heart-melting smiles, she saunters out. Small break in the story. Come Friday, it's quiet around Murder Central. Unless we're shooting out one of the bad guys in the alley or stacking dead bodies in an old warehouse to be reduced to ashes, there's little need for our services. I could pass the time reading more case files, but I'm not into fiction. All is not lost, however. Jade reminds me it's the first of the month. 3,000 big ones, minus my rent, were electronically deposited to my debit account. I'm looking to spend some of it, and a laptop computer is at the top of my list. Come noon, Hank and I head out for lunch. I invite Jade to go along. She declines. She has an errand to run. So she says. It's payday, Hank. Look. Wow. Pacific Ocean sunset in Washington State. I swear, Super is like the brother you never had. I mean, I know you have a brother, but I feel like Super's the one that you needed or something like that. I don't know. It's pretty messed up, whatever it is. Well done to the both of you and anyone else that was involved. Or something like that, yeah. Stunt, you are the last piece of my puzzle. Oh my god. Oh, that was cheesy, but I like it. You've been the missing piece to my life's puzzle all these years. As soon as I'm done with this chapter, which is only about a page's worth, 1 page's worth, I will do some shout outs so everybody knows who you crazy people are. It's payday, Hank. Lunch is on me. Have any plans for the weekend, Billy? My toenails need trimming. Ever been to the Kennedy Library? Yes, 20 or 21 years ago, but since he's kind enough to offer, I lie. No, never. How's tomorrow? I'll pick you up around 10. Great, thanks, Hank. I'm looking to buy a laptop. Know of a place I can pick one up? Sure, I'll take you there tomorrow. At closing time, Wilson comes out of his hole long enough to remind us we're on the call 24/7.
Enjoy your weekend. Remember to keep your cell phones on in case something comes up. On the way out, I ask Jade if she has plans for the weekend. If she doesn't come up with a good excuse, I'll invite her to join us tomorrow. Hank and I are going to the Kennedy Library in the morning. Want to join us? Oh, I would love to, Billy, but my plate is full of things I have to get done over the weekend. My ego is sufficiently bruised yet again. And that was a very long chapter 16. Whew. Okay. Oh my goodness. Wow. That was one heck of a chapter. It was full of very insightful and helpful information, but wow. It was so long. All right. Let's see. The tea is good. Not gonna lie. I got it from the Amana colonies that we visited Saturday morning. 'Twas delicious. I picked up some taffy of quite a variety of flavors, might I add. I love, and it's cheap too. It's like 10 cents per taffy. Or as the sign says, 10 cents each or 10 for $1. You love taffy? Haven't had any in so long? Yeah, it was really good. I have a lot. I got like $15 worth, which is 150 pieces. Banana taffy is one of my favorite. Yes, yes. I agree with you 125%, Stump Mama's Mama. I got a lot of those because, well, they're delicious. Taffy's not a big thing up here? Really? That is surprising. Now you want taffy? So sorry. There's some in my pantry. You're welcome to have a few pieces. I'll meet you at the door. Watching taffy get pulled is the coolest thing. Yeah, it's so stretchy. Your mother has banana taffy. How intriguing. Well, your mother's house is way closer than mine. Way closer. Although it's going to be a great couple of days for a drive. Just saying. Just saying. All right, so Jules, who is the landlord for Billy, William, as he hates being called, dished out a ton of information about, well, at least from his perspective, about what happened, who done it, why they done it, all that good stuff. But also revealed that talking about it in such a, you know, a negative kind of finger-pointing way could land him on the wrong side of the world police. In other words, dead or worse. You didn't work today? I feel weird? Why'd you feel weird, Rexter? Mine came from Rural King, and they have a whole bag of banana taffy, and it's softer than Laffy Taffy. Yeah, Laffy Taffy is too firm. What I got is like the individually wrapped in white paper kind of Laffy Taffy. Or, not Laffy Taffy, just taffy. Just regular taffy. No day off for me, but I decided not to do anything. There's nothing wrong with that. Rexter, you need to give yourself some grace. There's nothing wrong with having some time off. Saltwater taffy? It's not the saltwater kind. We do have some of that, but it's not the saltwater kind. We have Laffy Taffy here, but I don't consider that real taffy. That's correct, Super, because it's not really. It's close, but it's a knockoff for sure. Yeah, Rexter, there's nothing wrong with taking some time for yourself. Recharge the batteries. Sometimes doing nothing is exactly what you need to do. Even I take a mental break from work. Every now and again. I will sometimes schedule myself off just because I know I'm going to need it. There's nothing wrong with that. Gives me a chance to catch up on a couple things around the house, or, you know, just sit in a chair and watch a movie or something. Whatever. I agree, I need to learn to just stop. Exactly. Just stop. My God. I can mount a Canadian geese flying V-attack if your boss gives you a hard time. Wow. That's a vivid image there. Can you, by chance, Super, put yourself at the head and, like, sitting on the goose, flying in with your helmet and your comms? Because, you know, that would be a cool image too. I'm now imagining Super's head on a goose. In a Mountie uniform. That's even better. So, you're the one who keeps sending the Canadian geese to our house every evening. Yes, probably. I'm OCD, I have to make it perfect. I get that. I get that. When we first moved into this house, I was putting glasses and cups into a cabinet that was just going to be our, you know, that one cabinet designed for that, or where we would put that stuff. And I got this box and I neatly lined everything up, and I had the perfect amount of everything, and I filled up the cabinet. I even took a picture of it because it was like, it was excellent. And then I went to my wife and I was like, look, that cabinet's done. And she laughed and she gave me this. Aw, bless your heart. She's like, that's not all of it. And then reminded me that we had like 2 more boxes of glasses and cups and, you know, everything else that you could drink out of. And so my neat little cabinet went right out the window. And it's never been that way. It's never been neat and tidy ever again. And every time I look at it, I am reminded. So, sad day. All right. Well, isn't that fitting? Chapter 17 is called A Time of Reflection. I feel bad for you. Thank you. I felt pretty bad too. All right.
We'll do one more chapter because I think that's all we're going to have time for. And then we'll find someone to raid. Sound good? Sound gooda? I was hoping we'd get 3 chapters in, but chapter 16 was practically 2 chapters all by itself. Jules, you just kept talking and talking. You will never stop. All right. Page 141, exclamation point midnight, by the way. Gouda. One of your favorites. If it's good enough for you, it's good enough for everybody else that likes cheese. Okay. On Saturday morning, Hank arrives in his Ford Taurus in dire need of repairs. The Kennedy Library is the best 2 hours I've spent since returning from Europa. The single biggest mistake in the universe except for that precious ore. Following the tour, Hank takes me to his favorite North End Italian restaurant, Arrico's, run by Italian immigrants Carmela and Vincenzo Arrico. However you say that. The place is small, 12 tables and a minibar flanked by 4 tall stools. The restaurant is half full. A young woman greets Hank by name, which confirms he comes here often. Billy, say hello to Angie. Nice to meet you, Angie. She leads us to a table and we settle in. Carmela and Vincenzo run the kitchen. Angie the table service. You're in for a treat. The food is the best. Hank insists on ordering for us. Chopped tomatoes, olive oil, fresh basil. Capers and garlic simmered in a little red wine with jumbo shrimp. He wasn't overstating the food. Turns out to be the best Italian food I've eaten. A significant improvement over mushy oatmeal. So, Hank, do you have a life outside the office? I play for the Boston Bruins and conduct the Boston Pops on weekends. If you must know, I'm involved with a very nice lady. To keep your sanity, I recommend you do the same. Jade is on my radar. Good luck with that. Jade's on every healthy male's radar. Following lunch, we're off to the computer store. I dropped $655 on a laptop. Here's hoping there aren't many speed bumps setting it up. I was never the most literate computer guy. When we return to my place, Hank pulls up to the curb and turns off the engine. Thanks, Hank. I enjoyed the day. I swing open the door to leave. He places a hand on my arm. Wait. What is it, Hank? He looks to the street with a plaintive expression. 3 ragged down and out souls come our way, glance briefly in our direction, then pass on. There isn't a day that goes by that I don't question how we got here, Billy. The villains in Marseille would have never allowed this to reach this state unless something sinister was behind it. Well, there's a mouthful. Care to share? How about annihilating what they believe is an undesirable segment of society? Whoa. Wait a minute. Did he just confirm what Jules already laid on me? That's a pretty damning accusation. Well, how else to explain what's happening? A rigged economic disaster allows them to strip away the low-hanging fruit without being accused of planned mass extinction. A forced pandemic would have affected everyone, so that was out. They're reshaping society into their warped worldview, Billy. It's that simple. There's no other explanation. Why are you telling me this now, Hank?
From his hip pocket, he rescues his wallet, removes a folded slip of paper, and holds it out. Read it, Billy. What is it? Just read it. When I unfold the paper, I'm immediately taken aback by what I see. American democracy will fail when? And then we have a list of bullet points. When civil rights cease to be applied to all citizens equally. When the First Amendment crosses the line of dangerous rhetoric. When the Second Amendment is abused. When corporations are deemed to be people. When partnership in Congress trumps non-partisanship. When money rules Congress and state legislators. That's happening now. When citizens fail to engage in the issues. When there is voter suppression. When eligible citizens fail to vote. When whoever is running the government rules like an autocrat. Hey, Jen's back. Welcome back, Jen. It's so good to see you. Why are you showing me this now, Hank? In his famous book, Mein Kampf, Adolf Hitler wrote the way to take control of people was to chip away at their freedom by 1,000 tiny and imperceptible reductions. What's on that paper is a stark reminder of what can happen if we take what we have for granted. We did, and it brought us down. I had no idea that I what, Billy? That I have a soul, a conscience, and maybe even a little empathy? Turn it over. Read the other side. On the flip side is written, I agree with the Constitution with all its faults. I believe further that this is likely to be well administered for the course of years and can only end in despotism, as other forms have done before it, when the people shall be so corrupted as to need a despotic government, being incapable of any other. Benjamin Franklin. When I'm down and think there's little hope, I take that out and read it. When I hand the paper back, Hank fingers it lightly, folds it, and puts it away. His eyes go to the street again. They've turned me into what I'm not, Billy. They're going to do the same to you. Not if I can find a way out, Hank. There is no out. Not for me. Not for you. Not for any of us. Then I'll die trying. Seconds tick away with neither of us speaking. What can I add that would make sense of the madness we find ourselves prisoners of? Hank turns pensive again, gazing out the window as several lost, hungry, and wanting souls pass by, no doubt searching for food and a warm place to spend the oncoming cold night. There'll come a time when each of us is asked to stand up and be counted. What will we do when that time comes, Billy? I told you. I'm gonna find a way out. And if you do, where will you go? The Arizona desert. He arcs his head back and laughs. He offers me his hand and we shake. I slip out, open the back door, and fetch the computer box. Keep the faith, Billy, and this too will pass. From your lips to God's ears, Hank, assuming she's listening. I wave as he drives off. I can't help but wonder why he felt the need to show me the paper now. As I turn to go inside, Jules is coming out flanked by two men in dark suits. He's white as a ghost, and he looks terrified. Jesus, he's handcuffed. Billy, find Frank Wilson. Wilson? What's going on, Jules? Who are these men? Don't make a scene, Billy. Just find Wilson. Tell him they're taking me in. Who's taking you in, Jules? To where? Wilson will understand. Find him. The three begin descending the steps. I block their way. One of them puts a hand on my chest. Step aside, sir. What's going on here? I asked you to step aside. Who the hell are you guys? He whips out his credentials and sticks them in my face. That says I can arrest you if you don't mind your business. A frightened-looking Jules pleads with me. Billy, let it be. Just call Frank Wilson, please. Reluctantly, I let them pass. Jules is led across the street and placed in the back of a seat of a black SUV. He presses his face to the window and mouths Wilson's name as they drive off. What in the hell just happened? Rushing upstairs, I place the computer box on the desk and pace. It's Sunday. How will I find Wilson? I have no idea where he lives, nor do I have his cell number. I'll call Jade. Damn, I don't have her cell either. Try the office. Maybe one of the Joy Boys is there. After 4 rings, I'm surprised to hear Jade's voice. Billy, what's up? Oh, thank God you're in the office. I'm home. The office number is transferred to my cell on weekends. Can you contact the lieutenant? Sure. Why? Tell him 2 guys hauled my landlord Jules off in handcuffs. He told me to contact Wilson. Who took him away? One of them showed me his credentials. It had 3 black letters at the top. That's all I remember. Do you remember what those initials were, Billy? WMD, I think. Oh, crap. Oh, crap what, Jade? WMD. World Ministry Deputy. They round up people and haul them off to internment camps. My heart skips a beat. Those camps Jules told me about. Jade, what would they want with Jules? And how does he know Wilson? We're wasting time, Billy. Let me reach out to Wilson. Okay. Call me if you find him. Will do. Short break in the story. The afternoon slips by with no further word from Jade. I should call her. No. Wait for her to call. At 6 p.m., I'm in the middle of fixing a sandwich when the phone rings. Billy, it's Jade. I finally made contact with Wilson. He said he understood, and he'd take care of it. He'd take care of what, Jade? He said he'd take care of it. That's all I know. All right. If you hear from him again, call me. I will. As the evening slips away and there's no word from Jade, I assume the worst. In my short time here, the old curmudgeon has integrated himself into my life in the best of ways. Now I'm worried for his safety. Get your mind off it, Billy. Do something else. The computer. Unpack it. It turns out it's thinner than the one I had before, thinner than the one I had before I winged my way through Cosmos to planet shithole Europa. Hell, I'm too upset to screw with the computer. My thoughts are for Jules' safety. Sunday morning, there's still no update from Jade. After I shower and dress, I descend the stairs and knock on Jules' door. No response. Okay, go for a walk and clear the cobwebs. I roam for a couple of blocks. There's streetwalkers about, but none bother me when they spy my gun and badge. My mind is on Jules. Why was he arrested? Maybe he's involved in one of those dissident groups? It wouldn't surprise me if he was. He's sure as hell no fan of that reckless bunch of bigots in Marseille. When I arrive at the house, I knock on Jules' door again. Jules, it's Billy. You in there? Still no response. Now I'm really worried. Maybe Wilson didn't find him, or if he did, he was unable to intercede on his behalf. I skip lunch in favor of a nap. I'm up by 2, descend the stairs, and knock on Jules's door again. If he's in there, he's avoiding me. I head upstairs and turn on the TV. Unable to find a program that holds my interest, I decide to open the computer box when there comes a loud knock at the door. With gun in hand, just in case, I make my way across the room and peer through the peephole. Dear God, it's Jules. Unlocking the door, I swing it open. His face is drawn and ashen white. He looks crestfallen. Please, Billy, don't tell me you're out of booze. Sorry, I am. With his shoulders hunched forward, he moves sluggishly across the room, settles on the sofa, and lights a cigarette. What the hell was all that about? Whoa, slow down, Billy. Give me a moment to breathe. He's nervously sucking on a cigarette. I pour an inch of water into a glass and use it as an ashtray. Jules, you're killing me here. What happened? Thanks to you, Wilson came to my rescue. Jade found him, not me. Then I owe the lady a debt of gratitude. Rescue you from what? And how do you know Wilson? Let's start with Wilson. I was Captain Frank Wilson's top dog in the Marines. Master Sergeant Jules Summers at your service. Our unit was part of a joint UN peacekeeping mission tracking down terrorists in northern Sudan. When we found them, Frank took a couple of shots in the hip during the skirmish. That's what caused him his limp. The Marines offered him a desk job, but he chose to retire and go into law enforcement. When he joined the drug enforcement unit here, he talked me into moving here and buying this place and dividing the upstairs into 2 apartments the government could use to house the likes of you. Gee, thanks. Now, are you going to tell me why those 2 goons hauled you off? He takes a long drag on the cigarette, holds it, and exhales slowly. The misanthropic police arrested me. Who? World Ministry deputies, better known as Défenseurs de la Société, French for Defenders of Society. The sons of bitches round up undesirables and haul them off to those camps I told you about. Wilson secured my release in the nick of time before they could ship me to one. He takes a deep breath. It comes out as a long sigh. What crime did you commit? None by my standards, Billy. His eyes go to the floor. Several seconds pass before he looks at me again. His eyes have teared up. My sexual orientation by theirs. Jules, I'm sorry. Dousing his cigarette in the glass, he's up on his feet, wiping away tears. Look, I'm going to get some rest. I wanted you to know I was back. Yes, rest. Come back after if you need to talk. Yeah, I'd like that. Around 6:30, I'll bring a pizza and beer. Okay, but only if you feel up to it. He lingers by the door. The man never makes a clean exit. They interrogated me like I was a criminal not fit to live among them. That day is coming. And when it does, I'll spit in their sick homophobic faces. As promised, at 6:30, Jules shows up with a large cheese and pepperoni pizza and a 6-pack of beer. His ordeal has left him looking drained and morose. I see you bought yourself a computer. Yes. Which hookup is the house Wi-Fi? First connection at the top of the list when you try hooking up. Without further chit-chat, we settle at the table, pop open a couple of beers, and begin eating. We talk about everything other than his arrest. The weather, the homeless, and the oppression of the Marseille government. After finishing the pizza and a second beer, he's up on his feet. I know you want the details, Billy, but I can't talk about it now. I understand, Jules. I'm gonna lay down again. A good idea. I'm here if you need me. Mama House Gaming. Hi. I'm sorry I'm late as usual to the stream. Don't worry about it. I was laying down and then got my dinner together. Both of those things sound wonderful. Hopefully your vacation went well. It was a work trip. So, sort of like a vacation. I didn't pay for anything much. And it was a good trip, actually. It went pretty well. Thank you for asking. At the door, he stops and turns back. They're evil sons of bitches, Billy. Every last one of them. If we ever get them in front of a firing squad, I want to be the one who fires the rifle. And with that, the Energizer Bunny is gone. I feel compassion for the guy. All those many years back, we had taken major steps to curb discrimination, but prejudice are part of our DNA. How else to explain it? I finally turned my attention to the computer. As soon as I plug it in and turn it on, up comes, "Welcome to Microsoft 2.10. Nice to see they're still in business. The screen changes to, what would you like to do? Below are links. Set up, check mail, contact list, Google search, take a photo, Word, write something brilliant. They've made it easy, even for a computer dummy like me. I chose surf the web and set up the Wi-Fi connection. Bingo! It works right off. Like a kid in an ice cream parlor, I'm connected to the world but have no idea where to begin. In Google search, I type in official PPP website. The PPP's homepage comes up. There's the familiar eagle, and underneath that, the People's Cooperative Populist Party. One world in unity. World headquarters, Marseille, France. In the name of the Creator, all citizens of the world are loyal and supportive. Yeah, I just bet they are. Below is a series of links to various PPP information sites. Okay, now, I know where you vermin live. I'll be back to read more of your BS when I'm in a more solid frame of mind. Not promising when that might be. Checking Twitter and Facebook, I'm dismayed to find unfiltered trash talk by those too cowardly to spew their insults to someone's face. So that hasn't changed. Nothing much has changed. Literally said nothing much has changed. Opening the Write program, up comes Microsoft Word. At least I'm familiar with that. I type my name and address and find, like riding a bike, that my typing skills are still there, although rusty. Maybe I'll write a memoir. I have many depressing stories to share. I'll document my experiences on Europa, beginning with the humiliating naked walk past leering cat-calling inmates, and long nights, the brutal days, the Neanderthal guards, and all the rest. I named the file Before I Forget and turn off the computer. And that's chapter 17. I thought Jules was taken away because of his discussion with Billy out in the street and all the things that he's not supposed to talk about. But thank God it was something else. Not that it was a good thing, but I feel like the first would have been, well, worse. Oh boy. Well, good job on the puzzle. And I want to say how much I appreciated you all being here. It's about a 300-page book, so we're pretty much halfway through it. We're at page 151. I'm very curious to see if Billy does actually find a way out. Maybe he brings more people with him. Seems like Hank has changed his tune, or at least showed his true self. You know, took a moment to let his guard down kind of thing. Will the others do that? Maybe some of them are all in. Maybe Chernov's, you know, like a true patriot kind of thing. I don't know. Hard to say. Who knows what's actually going to happen? Either way, we will be back on Thursday with more Midnight Black, and then also Fourth Wing in Stunt Mama's Discord. If you're not in that Discord, by the way, here is a link for you. Hopefully somewhere better than the desert. Yeah. Although a bit of solitude doesn't sound that bad in their shoes at the moment. But yeah, hard to say what might happen. But we're about halfway through, so who knows? Who knows? Okay. Who do we have on? We've got Inside again, playing some Sea of Thieves. Mr. Carrington's on right now. He looks like he's finishing a movie, and then they're going to be playing Jackbox party games. Got a couple of folks playing Palia. My goodness. He's playing What the Dub? Is he? Oh. It says Jackbox Party Packs on his game title. Oh, but it is What the Dub. That's right. I thought he was watching a movie. Never mind. Thank you for correcting me. You know, we haven't rated Mr. Carrington in a long time, so let's do that. The movie is later. Okay. Usually his movie's first, but whatever. Let's go say hi to Mr. Carrington. Feel free to grab that raid message if you would. But yeah, we'll be back on Thursday. More book, more Fourth Wing in Discord. And I'll hopefully have some updates on our house, because we'll have our first, like, pick everything out meeting on Tuesday, so that should be good. But until then, as I always say, please take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and have a wonderful night.